In the end, it took less than 30 years for the world as we know it to fall. 95% of the population died. There were a litany of causes, not that it mattered in the end. Our infrastructure failed, and with no electricity, our communications, lights, and internet failed too. There weren't even enough survivors left to tend the fields and care for the remaining livestock. As if any of us had any of the necessary skills. Those few of us who remained barricaded ourselves into makeshift fortresses, although they had no idea what we thought we were hiding from. To paraphrase that ass T.S. Eliot, not with a bang, but with a whimper, the world ended. Almost. In the late 2050s, the builders ended the crisis by combining biology, precision mechanics, and thermohydraulics to make constructs from the dead, human and otherwise. These automatons took up all the necessary repetitive tasks that keep us alive. The constructs follow algorithms and programmable, mindless cycles. The dead of all species have taken the place of slaves, and like those slaves, they have become the basis on which our recovery and our economy grow. They are everywhere. As humans, we have lost almost everything. But we do have what humanity has always had. We have hope.
Oh, hello. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin, and these wondrous people have come and played a game with me tonight. Because I got my words wrong, because it's been weeks already, the rest is showing. They have agreed to come and play a game with me tonight, and that makes me very happy. These people are, in no particular order, Bison_Stonefist, because you don't look like you got your links ready.
Yeah, because I don't.
Ah.
I don't even think chat's up. There's chat. Okay, yeah, that's me. I'm Bison. I do stuff. I'm mostly stuff here. On Tuesday nights, I run Cyberpunk Red. We call it Carnage Heights. It's fun. Just finished a kidnapping. That was great. Right, there's my Twitch.
Links.
There we go. That's what I do.
There you go.
Occasionally, I post there. I might be starting to play EDF 4.1 again because it was fun.
It's the only reason to do things.
Exactly. I get to blow up bugs, and I hate bugs, so it's like revenge.
Not friend.
Yeah, not friend. I think that's all I do right now.
Oh, well, only many things. All right.
Yeah, things.
Speaking of people who are running games on our channel, let's go to Wayward Knight.
I was like, there's only one person that's going to be.
Yep.
I'm Wayward Knight, aka Chris. I'm here all the freaking time. I play Delilah Stillwater on this show, and then on Mondays I GM our Buffy TTRPG, our Buffy the Vampire Slayer TTRPG called Grave New World. It's a hoot and also very in a good way. In a good way.
Yes.
It's very Buffy. It's very
Yes.
Buffy.
Yes. Extraordinarily so.
I'm also an artist. I sell my stuff online. I need to update it again, but those are all my links. And sorry, I just saw a fly. I think that's it.
Okay, that'll do. Somebody else who GMs but does not do so on stream. Phil.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
There's a 50-50 chance on that one.
That is true.
Wrong.
Because now Robin's gonna be streaming soon. Not streaming. DMing soon. Anyways.
Yeah.
My DMing is actually coming to a close. My 2-year campaign is finishing next Tuesday.
Wow.
So that's gonna be
That
it.
is
And
cool.
You guys don't care.
That's not true.
We're here. Right here.
Still important to you.
It's still important to me. So yeah, that's
a big
culmination
deal.
of 2 years of work for me. It's lovely.
That
Anyways,
is a big deal. That's those bittersweet moments, the end of campaigns.
Yeah.
So have fun with that. I know you went dark with it, and I know everybody that was in it absolutely loved it. So hopefully you got a good, great ending for them. I'm sure you do.
I do.
But Speaking of GMs, we got a new one, and now we are now 4 for 4. 4 of the people in this game are all GMs, or at least we'll be able to say that as of Wednesday. Thunderscape 7. Tell us about your own self.
I'm Thunderscape 7 or Robin. I do art sometimes. I'm mostly on the Discord or hanging out in chat here. I will hopefully be able to do that more now that I have relocated and am working on potentially maybe starting to settle in. um, and yeah, I have taken on the task of DMing a game on Wednesdays, not streamed, just home game.
Yeah.
Only a little freaked out.
Oh, and 2 of us are in it, so I'm looking forward to this a whole bunch. But thank you for that. I guess it's my turn. I did everybody? Yeah, okay. Oh, the rust is showing something fierce. This channel is streaming a number of days a week now. Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Saturdays for sure. Friday upcoming, Wednesday upcoming, Sunday re-upcoming. So we will soon be back to where we were. I just went beep very loudly, so I'm going to fix my settings so you can't hear that crap. Never mind. We're not going to roll any dice anyway. With that, art by the background art taken from Pixabay. The character art is done using Hero Forge, and our fine and talented Thunderscape 7 cut many holes in art and made this wonderful overlay for us. So, with all that out of the way, let's get back to the fine folks on the riverside. I'm gonna start with Sid, because it just got quiet. Sid, because Stefano just passed out in your lap after spilling his guts to you. And
we were moving the car.
Yeah. And then
But
after
we
that,
just
yeah,
okay.
that's what I thought. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, Stefano's passed out is the point. Veritas is still awake and kind of moving around. But as it gets dark, you can hear this. I mean, you're in the bottom of a river valley, right? It's a slow-moving river. This isn't, this isn't roaring rapids. This is that whole bunch of different sounds, like the water going through the grass, that sort of hiss, that the chirping of bugs, the crickets. By the way, if you count the number of cricket chirps in a minute, you can figure out what the temperature is. But never mind. You can hear the crickets.
Only
you can
you
hear
can.
the nighttime
Okay,
birds.
Verite.
Yes. Yeah. Shh.
I actually knew that.
Yeah.
It's something I've only learned since moving down to the Okanagan.
Yes. Yeah, because down here they go because it's 30 fucking 8 outside. But yeah. Anyway, it's all that stuff that night by a river. So the sound of the river that you can suddenly hear, the crunching of the occasional animal moving through the trees. You were told there were no animals. Every once in a while you hear the boop of a fish breaking a surface, getting a bug or something. None of this was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a wasteland out here.
It very, very slowly detaches himself from the unconscious Stefano, being inordinately careful to A, not re-break anything, and B, because he's still got that soreness.
Yes.
We'll call it soreness, not healing ribs. And he kind of walks over to the river, not like just sort of the cliff.
Yeah.
I don't think he
You're
goes
actually
quite
it's
as far
a
as the
it's a
bridge.
bank. It's not a
Oh, it's a bank.
cliff. Oh no, you're right. It has to be a drop off, a sudden drop off,
Yeah.
because otherwise there wouldn't be a bridge.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He sort of makes it to the
It
edge
was
of that
hundreds
and
of
just-
feet, like I remember saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, pardon me.
and he sits and he watches the river. He hasn't seen. Well, that's not true because there's the river by Florence, but
But there's always light there.
yeah,
The only light here is the moon and the stars reflecting off that river shape that looks like an endless series of funnels when you see it lit. It doesn't move like
Yeah.
the ocean, right? It's different.
it's just it's entrancing. He's just kind of lost in it because he hasn't really seen something like this. Because I mean, even his view from his apartment was more the ossuary, and
Yeah.
you know,
Even if you went up on the walls in Florence, the only thing you could see was farmland, and maybe way in the distance a little line of trees. Right. This is
a
utterly
natural
foreign.
river is just yeah. He's just kind of watching it, like water moves weirdly in the moonlight.
Yep. It does. Like as it looks like a series of funnels going down. It's cool. Anyway, um, you kind of hear Verite sort of humming to himself, and if you take a second to look over, there was that patch of tiny white flowers that he keeps making into pictures by weaving them all together.
Mm.
You look over again now. He's done an image of the car, the Orchid Mobile, on the brink, like just as it was about to go off. But imagine like a daguerreotype, like just two tones, right? The white flowers and the dark green behind it, and the white flowers you can only see in the moonlight. He's just. You get the feeling he's processing. And
I think after he's had a moment to kind of like marvel, really, because that's what he's doing.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
gawking.
yeah,
Sid does his own processing. He goes to the car and he starts with just working with the moonlight and getting the reflection right. He starts writing out a repair order.
yeah. The first process is always paperwork. Sid.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
Sid, the manager,
like,
kicks in.
mm-hmm. And he's looking at it. He sees which areas are okay, what they're probably going to have to replace if they have time, what needs to be fixed before something else can get fixed. Like if the strut's bent, you're going to have to
And this is a Verite mobile, so everything is interconnected.
yeah, and it's going to take him some time, but it's allowing him to really get to know this thing.
Yeah. As you're just when you get to that spot where you drop in, right? Now this is a problem. This is a situation. This I know how to deal with this, right? And you start doing that almost like triage. What do I need to do first, second, and third, right? You hear Verite from over on the ground, sitting there with the flower. You look over and he's stopped, and he's just kind of sitting there with his legs crossed. And he looks up at you and he says, "How can you just go and look over the edge like that?"
My mom called it the fear of the void, the lure of the void. It is that. It's that big. It's different. It's strange, and you can't help but see just how far we got.
It's too big. It's too much. And he goes, but like as he says it, his eyes drop back down and he starts twiddling with his little flower image.
Sid puts down his pencil and he starts to. He sees a scuff that offends him, so he takes a piece of like very fine sandpaper for meant for brass, but he starts to wear at that scuff because it gives him something else to think about. And as he does, when I was a kid, I had to leave my home to come to Florence, and we had to go across the channel, and there was so much water. Never seen so much water in my entire life. We were up in the air. There was water there, water there. It was nothing but water.
That's too big.
It was, but I mean, we still had to travel it. And then we made it all the way here. Most of us. But you learn to process it in chunks. 6 feet from me to the ground. It's about 20 meters from me to the river. And yeah, it's just
Mm-hmm.
you process it in phases, I guess.
Quick question: was Sid in this? I don't think you were, right? Where you weren't in the scrap when Verite made his helmet and then took it off? No. Okay, I'm seeing the
No,
head shakes
that
from
was
over. Yeah,
no.
I
That
thought
we
so. Okay,
were.
I wanted to
Yeah,
make
we
sure.
That was just
because-
Artemis.
Okay, I wanted to
Yeah.
make sure. He says, so kind of like we were in the scrap and I took off the birdcage. It was too much and then it wasn't.
You learn to process it. I mean, when I was a kid, and he holds his hands out to about the size of a bowling ball.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, this was the biggest kettle I'd ever seen in my entire life. We come to Florence, and my dad's working on a kettle 10 times his own size. It was the biggest. I thought it was too big. And then it became my turn to work on it. And it just became another item.
Can you come with me?
Cracks his back. Why two?
I want to go have a look. And he looks to where you had been standing or sitting or wherever you're doing.
He scoots out from under the car, gets up, pulls his hand out, pointing as if you can see me. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, he you said you hold your hand out. He actually takes your hand like a child and then sort of does that brave kid thing where he's leading you. But
Yeah.
if you let go, he's going to stop. And he starts off pretty quick, like and then he just slows down and slows down and slows down. But eventually, he stops. He looks down. He stops. He looks down. He looks down again. You realize he's shuffling his feet, so he was standing exactly in your footprints from where you were standing. And he looks down into the valley. It's mostly dark. That makes it easier. Why does the river look like that?
It's light reflecting off the water from the moon. Since it's a reflection of a reflection. Because he goes, reflection, he points down at the water, of a reflection up to the moon.
Mm-hmm. From in the trees, you hear, "Oh, an educated person. Would you like some tea?"
This person can see Sid's shoulders visibly relax.
Mm-hmm.
And
Verite
like,
damn near jumps off the cliff. Like, just nah. Because it's behind you, like in the darkness. Yeah.
he stands, making sure Verite's okay first. And he turns and looks at this person. He's like, I haven't had a decent cup of tea in days.
And as you exhale that, you take the breath in to recharge your lungs, and Earl Grey, just a hint of lemon. Somebody showed it the sugar bowl just for a second. Like just 4 grains to make the bitter better.
Inside, Sid is crying, weeping tears of joy.
Yep.
Outside, there's just like a twitch of the lip. And it's like, are you from the home country?
Oh no, we're from here.
Well, you
We
know
just-
how it's done.
We have a knack for making people feel better. How about you? And they turn to Verite, and you can smell, it's like chamomile and all those soothing ones. all the no caffeine sleepy time ones, as they hand that to Verite, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't even. You can see he doesn't even process the should I, shouldn't I. He just reaches out and takes the cup. Where did you come from? It's big and dark out there. You don't have any lights. And you hear another voice behind him in the trees there. I keep saying they because it's it's dark and it's hard to tell, and the voices are very soft, but you hear a second voice in the trees say, "You know well enough to trust us." And Verite goes, "Yeah, I do." He has another sip of the tea, and another one steps out of the darkness. So there's two of them now.
Sid looks down to Verite and is watching him completely without any reservation. And he puts his his good hand to his hip.
Yeah.
And he's like, I shake your hand, but the shoulder's still a little raw. Sid Brimlock.
Oh, the tea will help with that. And we are the children of the river. And you can hear the capital letters, right?
Yeah. Sid's eyebrow arches. He's like, I thought you were just a story to tell the tardy children.
We learned very quickly that the fight that is the easiest one to win is the one that you don't fight. So, and they kind of look across the river at that military camp. When people like that show up, and they kind of look up at the moon and the stars like they're trying to figure out exactly what time it is, we have discovered in our past dealings with people like them that if we convince them that we can do magical things, they tend to go away. Oh, and they don't like tea.
Arians.
Yes, alcoholics to the one. But, as I said, that story you've heard, those tales, to be completely fair, most of them were started by us. Again, the fight you don't have to fight is a fight you've already won. But you have had very trying times, I can tell. And they point down at your hand, and like you're shaking. You look down, and you're just vibrating.
Yeah, he's holding the saucer. Or is it a cup and saucer, or is it just a cup?
It is, but it's not like china. It's sort of carved from natural products. But yeah, it looks, it's clearly a bowl and saucer. It's just not fine china.
Yeah.
Or cup and saucer, pardon me.
When Sid puts the cup down back on the saucer, you can tell he actually has to hold it with both hands.
Yep. That classic.
Yeah. A bowl of tea.
Yes. So the good part is, you can rest now. You're under our wing, shall we say. We protect people like you. Adventurers. People who want to know the truth. Do you want to know the truth, Sid?
There's a lot of things I'd like to know, but not much of them concern me.
Well then, the conversation can wait for tomorrow. Perhaps you should rest. Oh, you might want to wait 1 minute, though. And they kind of look up at the stars again. And that's where we're going to cut away. A boot of tea. A booty, yeah. Okay, so Artemis and Delilah standing there in the darkness with the tea from your other two persons who have just introduced or not introduced themselves to you but showed up. How do you respond? Delilah, you said you're drinking the tea. You trusted them instinctively.
Yeah, she started drinking it last session.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, Artemis, how about you?
Mm-hmm. Artemis had not yet. She's hesitant but surprised by, because they were able to take some of the headache away, or like you were getting like a buzzing or something.
Yeah.
Um, and so she's kind of watching them, trying to figure out what they're about, because she did not meet the people in the port. So
Right. Yeah. So there is. Make an empathy play for me. Hearts. Let's do this. Let's see how about you can read them. Wow,
I got
we're
a
playing a
king.
game. I forgot stuff.
see.
Oh shit.
I thought you played that king, didn't you? Or you got a second one?
No, you would have played that king when we.
Yeah, you played the king.
No, I've already
Mm.
played my king. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I was
So, yeah.
confused what the
Sorry,
question was.
yeah.
No, I'm just looking because I'm like, I have a lot of traumas still. So I gotta
Yes.
figure out what my deal is.
Right. So this is a hearts roll, so only a heart trauma
Yes.
counts. That
Mhm.
is.
Yeah, no, I have
flesh,
trauma in
so-
all of them.
Yes.
So I've got 2 hearts, a
Okay.
6 and a 3, and I
So,
have a
ooh,
-1
2,
because of the 2
3.
trauma.
So that's an 8. So that's still 3 successes.
-1.
Oh, it's -1 of the total roll. So -1 to you
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
9, so it goes to 8, which is a
Got it,
success,
got it.
and then the 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's easy to read them because there's no barrier. That's the first thing you recognize. They are honestly open. There's not hiding anything from you. They honestly mean you positive feelings and goodwill. And you also get for your third success there's underneath that, you almost miss it, there's a little I know something you don't know grin just on the very corner of their lips, but there's
Oh, she
nothing
hates that.
malicious about it. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, she hates
Mug.
yeah.
But yeah, she's holding the cup and is working up to it. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like trying to assess the situation because this feels odd
Yes.
considering the people across the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Delilah, how do you respond? The tea is amazing.
I think she drinks it as fast as she can, like depending on how hot the tea is.
It's the perfect temperature.
So she just like downs it.
Yeah.
I think that's what I said last session. I said she downs it.
I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
And she I'm trying to remember her headspace. She was like confused and frustrated, and she got really impulsive, and so she's just like she's looking at them going, okay, who are you?
We are the children of the river.
Did they tell us what their name was when we were at the port? No? Okay.
And technically, these are not the
assume.
same group at all.
Okay. Okay.
We assumed.
Yeah, we just assumed.
Yeah.
There was zero magic at the port.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a bunch of hippies living in it.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
rocks.
With
Yeah.
rocks and metal. Okay. The children of the river.
Yes.
Okay, whatever. Why are you here?
We're here to help. Anyone that comes into our area that's not like that, and she looks across the river at the military party, we assist. And they look at you and grin a little bit and say, "You're from Florence, yes?"
Yes.
We might be a bit busier than you had been led to believe.
Come again?
What percentage of the world's population were you told survived? It's about
Very, very small.
not as small as you'd think. Humans are amazingly resilient creatures.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Found that out. So, you just philanthropy it up out here, or?
This world is an extremely difficult place. In this area, we have let our reputation speak for us, and it allows us
that
a
would
certain amount
be-
of. Oh, we've convinced people we can do magic.
Magic.
Yes.
Meaning, implying you can't actually do magic.
Well, we can cause things to happen in the world in a way which appears magical. In fact, and I look across the river, and you can see a group of the soldiers. They're getting tanked up. It's night, right? They're getting drunk, and a bunch of them are winding up crossbows and their steam things and heading towards the targeting range that they've built. And they look across the river and say, perhaps an example. And they put their hands up to their mouth and make a bird song, just some kind of bird song that fits in perfectly. You've heard that song before, but just a slightly different version of that. And you hear it echoed a couple times up the valley, and then you hear it echoed from across the valley, because the valley's here, and then their camp is here, and there's another hill that comes up here. And from where you guys are, you can see across the top of that hill, there's a whole bunch of more of these people that look like the children that are in front of you with these sort of dark gray cloaks and whatnot. You can see they've got pry bars, and there's dozens of them cranking away on these rocks at the top of the hill. And then they let loose and start pounding down the hillside towards them. At the same time, you see another group off in the distance fiddling with stuff. You see sparks flying, and then explosions start to happen. It's pyrotechnics, but with the avalanche coming from one side and the pyrotechnics flashing in the sky above them in the middle of the night, it's just chaos. They're shooting into the darkness. They don't know where to go. They're just, you can see the whole group just shrink until they're all in their little tiny compound in the center. Just, we do like our quiet at night.
Uh-huh.
Sid, you hear an avalanche on the other side of the hill, and you see pyrotechnics across the river.
What in the bloody?
At that moment, Coes, you hear off in the dark. Just as you burst into the clearing, you see Artemis standing there with the tea, deciding whether to drink or not. Delilah standing there with an empty cup, and a couple of people grinning across the river at the mayhem.
I would have said I would have burst through. I would have been
Or-
sitting there for like a tiny bit and then
Yeah.
kind of
And then
walk
come
on
out.
through.
Okay, so yeah, in that case, I'll give you the. You heard the last couple seconds, so you know that there was what happened.
So Koas walks out. So what? The point is to uphold the reputation so no one bothers you?
Coffee?
Actually, if you would offer me tea, I would have refused. Not that I don't like tea, it just.
Don't
I
take this
think
the
I could
wrong
go with
way, but you
coffee,
smell like the police. Coffee?
Yeah, I had this whole thing in my head. that I
Lila
was
goes,
gonna- You know, when you put it like that, I had this. Yeah, the whole plan to grill you on. Well, yeah, give it here.
There's no need to grill us. You just have to ask.
I just. They also give me carrot cake.
Apparently they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rude.
Hey, cake.
But no, as
You like
goes.
Co's best.
Mom, why do you like Coes more?
It's because he's adopted.
So, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep.
So he's going to continue, and he's just gonna say, so what's the point? You help out the people that pass through here, but how does that help out everything else in the world? If you're only refined to your own area.
What we do here is act as deliverers. This place has no intrinsic value of its own except as a natural place of passage.
Okay, so like escorts, like bodyguards?
In a way, one or two of us will travel with you, but the entire valley is, and they look across the hill to where the festivities just occurred, prepared.
Oh,
How how do you guys not have a muddled opinion on things? There's plenty of you. How do you make sure that one individual or multiple individuals within your group don't muddle up what's going on within the group? Don't twist things for your own gain, if you will.
It happens from time to time, and those people are found floating in the river.
mm, please tell me that's a joke.
I could, but that would be a lie.
Yeah, please tell me that's not a joke, because I like that.
Yeah, that sounded not like a lie.
Right, okay. I'm gonna call cult and maybe regret drinking the tea.
Oh no, as long as you're not, and they look across the river, like them, you'll be fine.
Where
I
do you
don't
put,
I don't trust that.
and where do you put the line on that?
We'll
And
tell
who
you
makes
when
that line?
we'll tell you when you're
Is
close, and each of us does. Each of us in our own way. But we've already had a meeting. And we think you're important.
Oh, so your almighty council has decided our fate through this valley.
In a way, I could say yes, but in
Well,
another
thank
way,
you, oh benevolent ones, for granting us safe passage. I'm sorry. This is insane.
you're free to move on your own as well. We offered the help. We didn't demand that you take it.
right, but
To be
the
fair, isn't
point
that what
here,
Verite told us? That we were going to save the world and
I
be
guess the
important?
difference here with this already is what Delilah is getting at is if they deemed us unworthy in any regard, whether it's we're too loud or we cause a bit too much ruckus, like we did with the car.
I think they mean more the armor and weaponry.
I have weaponry. Let me kind of pull out my
It's
crossbow. We
not
all have weaponry.
it's not the weapons you carry, but your intentions, or our, to be more accurate, and they look at Delilah, our interpretations of your intentions.
And how exactly do you come about these interpretations?
Yeah, how do you know you don't get it wrong?
Generally speaking, if you don't attack us, we don't attack you. That bunch of pricks over there has been trying to take over this valley for 3 months. We've killed 214 of them. They've killed 3 of us.
But isn't that the issue there? Because you keep killing more of them, they see you more as a threat. They don't see you as benevolent passer people that let people pass by and keep watch of the valley. They see you as people that are attacking their men that go through this valley.
They're not
Yes.
trying to go through the valley, they're trying to conquer the valley.
How do
Well,
we know that?
if you are
How do
capable
you
of
know that?
killing so many of them, why not just kill all of them?
If we deem that necessary, we will do so. Although they are getting smarter. A bit.
Why didn't your almighty council just deem it necessary in the first place?
We believe in second chances. And yes, we are aware of the hypocrisy of our beliefs. But we believe them nonetheless. We can offer you a boat. and a path down to the riverside. Or we can offer to escort you every step of the way through the woods until we take you to the road, near Forley.
You mentioned Florence
Yes.
before. So you know how Florence reacted to the dying,
Yes.
and that it was different from others?
Many places did lock down, like Florence did. But Florence is the only one that stayed locked down. Don't get me wrong. The vast majority of the world's population did die. But to not put too fine a point on it, we breed like rabbits and we're very hard to kill. It's a long damn time before we get back to anything like society. We might just get back to something like civilization. Or at least you can. We're going to stay here and deal with that.
Boss mentioned they're mercenaries.
Yeah, I heard they're mercenaries.
Yes, and apparently they're having trouble getting hired.
Who do they work for?
At the moment, no one. That's why they're camped over there causing shit and disturbances in the evening. We're waiting for them to leave, honestly.
How did they get into the force in the first place? Did they just come in through because they were not hired? They decided to, let's come in here, or let's go to Florence.
Do
you know any of that?
They were probably on their way to Florence to pillage. But, and they look back over the river again, there was a rather large series of brightly colored explosions, and the bridge they were about to cross fell. And so they've sort of set up camp.
Delilah turns to Artemis and Cois and goes, haven't exactly made a strong case for themselves, but
I'd rather go with them than those guys.
yeah. I don't know if they're trustworthy, but as we've established, we have weapons.
Well, and
So-
is anyone trustworthy? I mean, they came at us with tea and coffee. I'm pretty sure those guys would come at us with weapons.
Right. I don't trust the mercenaries. I trust the mercenaries
no,
far
God,
less.
No.
I guess my point being here is that for what we know, it's a bit dangerous here. They come a bit too peaceful. There still needs to be some level of
why do they trust us so much?
Exactly.
To be
they
fair,
don't know
Coas,
us.
We don't know anything about the world out here, how dangerous it is or not.
We might have to just approach this on faith.
It might be beneficial to have people who actually know what to maybe expect out here.
Well, people who claim they know.
Yeah. And how much of their viewpoint is warped.
But do we have to adopt their viewpoint in order to get their help?
It's not what it sounds like.
And I'm just saying, take everything they say with a grain of salt.
Oh, absolutely.
They're people just like the rest of us.
Exactly. And so some of them could be easily corruptible. I mean, this one's talking for the entire group. How do we know that all their group shares the same intentions?
Because the ones that don't apparently end up dead in the river. And then she glances at one of the people.
I'm assuming you guys moved away to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they mask it well. I mean, maybe I'm
They
just
don't
being a
seem to
bit too
mask.
mistrusty.
They seem
Not
pretty
as
easy to read.
Yeah, Artemis, they are the least shielded people you've ever sort of tried to read.
I'm just gonna go check on a cat, but
Yeah.
of course, it's gonna sit there and think.
Ponder.
Perfect. In that
Stroke
case,
his chin.
we'll cut back to Sid. Sid, tea in hand, Verite beside you. He's just doing big blinks, like, and you just hear him mutter under his breath, "Too much, too much," and he sort of takes that half a step back, leaving you sort of half a step in front of him, dealing with these people.
Mhm.
So how's the tea?
My mother would be very disappointed to find out you stole her recipe. And he says that with a genuine smile on his face.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will take that as the deepest of compliments. May I ask what your intentions are?
Me, personally, he smiles, looks down to Verite. We're here to save the world.
And Verite
for me?
grins. And even though he's sort of crouched down, he kind of, or he's a little bit behind you. You can feel him sort of standing a little taller because you included him. That's.
For me. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's what we thought, but I was asking you.
And like there's the longest pause. And he sounds like he looks like he's almost about to say something, but he has some tea instead.
Your
while
your
he's having the
calluses are
tea-
fading. I see. And they're looking at your hands as you're holding the tea. And I mean, I'm assuming you got working man's hands, right? You got the big cracked knuckles and all that. But you look down and they're right. You haven't been working a boiler in a couple days now. Your hands are getting a little bit soft.
Well, it's a good thing Artemis isn't a very good driver. I have something to do now.
They look at the machine. They look at you and Verite, and there's a confusion. It's beautiful. I even can recognize the genus. Who? You point at Verite, and he looks at you and he says, "Oh no, I only did the first part. You did a whole bunch since."
Verite is a very bright star. But sometimes he needs a few lenses to focus right.
Bright stars burn really hot.
They do. That's why you've got so many ideas in that head of yours.
There's only one idea. At a time.
Don't sell yourself short. You've got to put it somewhere.
And he kind of grins. But I'm not short. And he's trying to make a joke.
Mm-hmm.
For him to intentionally misunderstand you, that's a
Yeah.
big step, right?
Sid just sort of smiles at that.
Verite looks right at them and says, "Why are you helping us?" And
That's a good question.
there's kind of an actual, because I mean, when Verite looks at you, you guys know, like, it's that 100% focus, right? Like, there's no filters. He wants to know. He's asking the question because he really wants to know the answer. Why are you helping us? And kind of step back, and because we think what you're doing is right. You can't know what we're doing. Who are you? We're the children of the river. No, I mean your name. We are the children. You're not going to tell me. I don't think I like you. Sid, I don't like them.
Sid places the tea on the saucer. Verite is a very good judge of character.
No, I'm not.
He's
Not
waits.
realizing that he completely undercut your argument,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And he looks to the person who gave him the tea very intensely. You'd best explain yourself plainly.
And they look at the size of you, and there's fear. Then they look at Verite, and they try not to make eye contact, but he's still, like, he hasn't even blinked. He hasn't got his answer yet, right? And as you can see their eyes are, and then whap, it's like a black hole catches them, and they look back at Verite. We want this place. We want this whole valley to ourselves. We want everyone out of it. We're willing to do almost anything to accomplish that. And Verite looks angry. Why didn't you just say that? And there's no answer.
Honesty. And again, he's just staring. It's made of wood, but you swear the saucer cracked.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
his
yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
He's holding it with just his
Yeah.
index and his thumb.
That, where the glass breaks. Yeah. You snap the stem on your wine glass moment. Yeah. Oh, who are you? I'm Verite. I'm kind of special. I'm gonna help save the world. And it's just like it's just going past him. Like this what he's just done is just going right by him. He got the answer that he wanted, and now he's happy.
Sid's like, he's why I'm here. He's the reason I keep going. We're going to save the world, and if you try to stop us, we try to get in any of our way.
We're not here to stop you. We're here to help you. We're here to
So
help
you
you
say.
leave.
Looks to Verite. Well, then I best get that work order done. Don't want to bother you. Puts the tea down. Walks away.
And Verite looks at you, looks at them. Yeah, don't want to bother you. And he turns around and, like, almost like the mime mocking you. He's trying to model his behavior on yours. And he just walks over and just flips down underneath the other side of the cart. The two of you underneath. And as the second you're there, that snap focus comes in. And he starts, we have to do this first, and then we have to do that, and we have to change it. Hold this part, Sid. And he's actually, like, you're doing work orders. He's already fixing shit.
Yeah.
And you can, every once in a while, you look out and there's just like two sets of feet standing there. And they just don't move. They're just standing there while you're waiting underneath the vehicle.
Well, hold on, Verite. This part might take a while. And he says that with, like, the wink in his voice.
Yeah.
Before we get that part done, we're going to have to do this. And he points to something that isn't directly connected, but is going to take a long fucking time to do.
He
Pass me that stump.
He
We're going to need to get this
whispers.
in the air.
He whispers in your ear, "You're lying, right?"
Sid's like, just want to piss them off a little. Make them wait. Make them stew.
Okay. And he's, yes, that needs to be fixed, and then that, and he's like, he's overdoing it now, and he's just like, and that, and then we have to fix that, and he's just, he took your idea and he's expanding. So,
Yes. So we're going to, I believe the term is malicious compliance.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. A couple
Work
of
to order.
a couple of minutes into it, you look over and the feet are gone, but there's like a container about that tall, two of them, one that smells like Earl Grey and one that smells like chamomile, with little wooden lids on them, sitting right beside where you guys were. But they're
If they
gone.
weren't so bloody polite, this would be easier.
I never understood social mores.
Hmm.
You're really good with people, Sid. Can I call you Sid?
Of course you can call me Sid.
I just realized I never asked before. And this
Never
whole
had a
time he's
problem.
still wrenching, right? He just
Yeah. Sid's working on the strut, trying to get that unbent.
Yeah.
Using
Meanwhile,
a forge
Veritas,
hammer
his
and
left
no
hand's
heat.
doing his left hand's doing one thing, his right hand's doing another thing, and he's talking to you. Like he's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Sid's kind of got that same. It's not like the 1,000-yard stare, but it's like your eyes are unfocused and they're watching everything as
Yep.
you're working.
And
Yeah.
he says, I don't. Oh, that's what trust is. I don't have it for them, but I don't think they want to hurt us. I think they just want us to leave.
I can understand being left alone, but the world's opening up again, finally. And if we do this, it's going to open up a lot faster than they're going to be ready for. We're going to have to learn to deal.
Stefano taught me a sentence the other day. I think this is the right time to use it. Not our problem. Did I use it right?
I'd say so. It's not our problem. Well, it's our problem until we leave.
Okay, then
And
let's
then-
fix the car.
Try not to wake. Was Stefano in the car? Or no, we were by the tree. That's
You were
right.
over by a tree, yeah. I was just
Yeah.
gonna say I was just trying to decide whether to have a moment of comic relief before I cut away, and I thought, yeah, what the hell? Because you mentioned him, you look over to the tree, and he kind of comes up a little bit behind the tree, and then lays back down and goes to sleep again. He's a rookie. He went way too hard, way too fast on an empty stomach.
I was just gonna be like, interns.
In his sleep, unpaid intern.
That's right, he'll be an apprentice. Back to work.
Back to work, and I got one more sentence. Verite says, I can follow them if you want. The children?
Sid actually stops. Are you sure?
And you'd heard him working, like doing two things with the two different hands. One hand comes down, the other one's still working on the machine, and he's still looking at you. But in this hand, there's this little, like, sort of four-legged, almost like his people that he makes.
Okay.
But it's just like a little, almost like a half a spider. It's only got 4 legs and a little ball. And on the bottom, he turns it up so you can see the bottom of the ball, and it's got like almost like a strainer effect on the bottom. It's open, and inside you can see tiny gear works and things, as is his normal stuff. It's all steam pressures. Once we charge it up, it can smell the tea, and then we can follow the smell.
It's not a bad idea. I'm sure Coas would love to hear what we found out.
I think following people that want to be left alone might be. I don't know the word.
It's not just that they want to be left alone. It's the way they want to be left alone. I mean, and he points back to the avalanche. That's a little extreme.
It is. And he
I
actually,
just don't want the right. He's like, he just pauses. He's like, I just don't want the wrong people to get hurt.
and as you say, like you said, you looked across the river, you feel his just one finger just bring you back. So you're looking at the bottom of the vehicle again. He says, "Not our problem."
Sid doesn't say anything. He wants to.
Yeah,
And I think even Verite could tell that he wants to, but he doesn't. This isn't the right person to have that fight with.
fair enough. Yep. So with that silence, we're gonna cut back to the others.
I would like to imagine like Sid and Verite as they're working, they hear like a rustle through the branches, and they can
Yeah.
hear the footsteps, and they can hear ghosts. I'm just saying, I really don't trust them.
Oh, I
No.
don't trust them as far as I can throw them.
Absolutely
I mean, you
not.
could throw pretty far, can't you?
From under the
No.
car, Sid's
Oh.
like, knew it.
I'm not saying we trust them. I'm saying they may actually be able to help us get through here.
They have ulterior motives. That is
Well,
for sure.
obviously they do, but like, what
They
are we
just
gonna
want
do?
us
Just
to leave.
wander?
Hello.
Hey, Verite.
Hi.
See a wrench wave from under the car.
And
Hi,
Sid.
Sid.
Artemis
the
will
darkness.
see Artemis will see like
Hi,
the
Stefano.
pots of tea
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, they found you too."
They're irritatingly good at it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I
It's-
don't like it.
It's not fair.
They're so
To be-
bleeding polite.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't that hard to find us. We had a full-on campfire, and we did just crash. So.
I,
The
Did
tea,
you-
Coas, the tea. The two
Right.
Englishmen are talking about tea.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sure.
Who was it that was it? The Sid and Verite people who said that they blew up the bridge.
Yes.
No, that was
No,
ours.
that was
Oh,
yours.
that was
No.
ours. Okay.
Yeah.
Did
Yours,
you know
yours
they
admitted
blew
to all
up-
kinds of horrible things, but
Yeah.
Verite got the simple one-line truth out of them. So
Did you know they blew up the bridge? Not the mercenaries, the bloody hippies.
I think they're well
Apparently-
past being the point of being hippies.
Apparently, the mercenaries are trying to take over the valley or something, and they don't want that to happen.
Yeah, they really like this valley.
Which I guess fine, but also apparently the world
Explosions?
hasn't been locked down as long as Lawrence says it has.
Yeah, there's that.
Apparently, there's actually a lot more people out here than we know.
Color me surprised.
and all they want is for us to leave.
And I say we
No, that's
leave.
not surprising.
Why would a mercenary group want a valley, though? That's the thing. If they're not being paid by anyone, why would they want the valley?
Because they
They're
want
not-
something to feel like they're not failures.
What does a bored mercenary do?
Steals
They
from other people
steal- Yeah.
They kill people.
on a main road that is traveled often. Of course, they'd want this.
And they would have
Sure,
seen the
but-
ash from the cloud. They would have known people were in trouble. Easy
Yeah.
targets. Like all of a sudden you're getting all this emotional responses from Verite under the cart.
They did say that they suspected the mercenaries were on their way to pillage in Florence.
That's what they did say, yeah.
And they said they'd help us across the river.
Down the river, not across
Down the river?
Down.
Down
They
the
said they'd
river.
give us a boat down to the river and a boat, all through the woods to the road.
Either way, we have two options. We go alone, or we have them help us go through. At the end of the day, it just boils down to those two.
I have my ideas of what we could do for either, so what do you guys think?
Despite my
Sounds-
mistrust in them, they do want us just out of this valley and get us to where we're going. So I don't think anything bad's gonna happen if we follow them.
And they do ostensibly live here. They know what to expect. We don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be the smarter play.
I see what you did there.
Verite just rolls out from under the car, goes over and picks up the tea, takes the little wooden coaster off of it, puts the coaster on a rock, has a nice sip and puts it on the rock. And then he just sort of sits down and gets small again, like he's not part of this conversation.
Much as I hate it, I think we should accept their help.
It would get us out of here faster, I'm sure.
They said they could take us to Forley, which is where we wanted to go.
I guess my one issue is that we don't know like what's gonna happen with these guys way on, like in the future, right? They can shift and transform into something that becomes a bit too extreme.
If that happens, then we deal with it when it happens. We don't have... So you would want us to preemptively strike at these
No,
people?
not strike at
We
them.
can't just stay here in case something happens down the line either.
Yeah, no,
I
that's right.
understand the concern, but ultimately we might not be even anywhere near here.
Yeah,
We're
no, you're
going
right.
As Verite said,
incredibly north.
and I hate to agree with him, it's not our problem. Do you see any Hierophant or Technophants with us?
I mean, I could go
I'm
back
like,
and get some.
Sid, you're so close.
I could go back and get some.
There's a I don't usually do this. There's a really obvious solution between you and Florence that involves Technophants.
That's true.
Bring all the Technophants here.
If that
Yeah, it's
army heads towards Florence, they got to go down the road past the mansion. If they got to go down the road past the mansion, they are facing an army of Technophants controlled by a slightly psychotic 13-year-old boy.
Well, actually, I think
Well, he
very
removed all the
affirmative
weapons from those,
action.
though, right?
You don't need, well, these are
You
human
don't need
beings. Like he can just go
weapons.
smash, 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 smash,
You
smash.
have
mean-
an Iron Man Mark whatever.
Yes, yeah.
I think Fatima would be like able to control the 13-year-old.
yeah,
I think she's the only one that would.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but
Yeah, but
between
Fatima is
I
also
don't know
the
which
one
one of
who
them
was-
is more
Put on a
One of them-
formidable.
helmet and cock a shotgun.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
They're in like a
They-
power struggle. Those two.
they are certainly a force to be reckoned with. So
That's gonna end up
Very
in like an episode of
delicate
Shock
balance.
Jocks or something.
yeah,
It's like they wake up one day, all the kids are like, "Hurry to the courtyard! To the courtyard! They're finally doing it!" Rock'em
They're-
sock'em robots, 20 feet tall.
Voldemort, Harry Potter, like
Yeah.
fucking.
the full meal deal.
Yeah,
Obviously,
there's-
Thomas is Harry Potter.
No, I was just thinking like the two guys having the brawl in the schoolyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, except it's Rock'em Sock'em robots and they're
Yeah.
20 feet tall.
I don't know. We know for a fact Fatima like killed a man.
Yep,
True.
she killed her
Who's
husband.
to say
said,
She
Thomas
killed her
the one
husband
putting
in
on a
cold
pit helmet
blood.
and cocking a
So
shotgun.
yeah.
Hey,
With a
Um,
machete.
Yeah.
who's to say Thomas can't?
Anyway,
Anyways,
Anyway, we digress.
Thomas
Yeah.
will just steal their hope.
and
why
and
don't we?
scene.
Yes.
Why don't we get one of them to help and keep a very tight watch on them?
Verity's already got to step up on that.
Oh,
How so?
Yeah, how so?
Your little robot.
Oh, I can follow them.
the robot?
The children. They smell like
Sid.
tea. And he holds up this little robot, like that explains everything. They smell like tea, and holds up a 4-legged little thing with a ball.
Could I
Sure.
pick it up from his hand?
It's like a
Looking-
foxhound.
How
except
do you-
made of metal.
How do you work this thing?
You fill it up with steam as always and power it up, and then you put it on top of the tea. And I should leave some. And he very carefully puts it down and puts the lid back on. And then it follows the smell.
He's gonna place it down on the tea. Is it powered on, or is there steam with it, or?
He takes it off and looks at you like you're a little slow. And he pours some water in it and gets a little fire going underneath it and starts to boil the water. He said, there, now it's powered up. Now it'll work. And this time when you put it down in a cup, it goes click. And you can hear a little fan inside. And then it stops.
Activating Snoofler.
Yes.
He leans in close. Does it move?
Just put it on the ground.
Puts it on the ground.
And it starts to move away from you. You
Gobble.
can slowly walks away
Oh,
from
shit.
you.
Peter.
You can see on the it's the middle of the night, so you can see it reflecting in the fire right now. But as it moves away further, it's the little spot in the back starts to glow like bioluminescent, just like a firefly. Nothing really obvious, but enough to follow.
But what does following them get us exactly?
More info? I'm gonna follow it. And yeah, Ghost's gonna just give a follow.
Dude looks to Verite. I told you he would.
And he looks at you.
Delilah's like-
Yeah.
Curious, but she's also really tired. She's
Artemis is
getting-
gonna sit on the ground.
Yeah,
Ver-
Delilah's gonna go with
yeah.
Coast.
Okay. So the two of you head out. No, Verite stays. He doesn't. I was gonna say he goes to watch his bug, but he knows it's gonna work. He doesn't have to go watch. So yeah, the two of you can head off into the darkness, leaving Artemis, Sid, and
the
Verite, and yeah, Stefano's still passed out.
Stefano
behind.
in and out of consciousness.
So the two of you, Coas and Delilah, start following this thing into the trees, and it just keeps going and going and going, and eventually, it runs out of steam. And Verite says, "Oh, we could fill it up, but I think it's almost where it was going." And he kind of points to the trees and in the
Verite's
distance.
not there, right?
Oh no, sorry.
There's
My
a little
mistake.
voice coming from the thing that's
No,
Verite
there
saying.
isn't. Sorry, no. It runs out of steam, and when you go to pick it up, you see off in the distance just a glow of a very small campfire.
Well, Delilah, are you good enough to come? I can still go for like another hour or so I'm good. But you sure you're not too tired?
No, I'm fine.
Thanks for backing up my sentiments there. I don't know. Maybe I feel like I'm a bit too mistrustworthy now. And not me, but like me mistrusting the world, if you will.
No, I get it. I get it. I went from basically, being spoon-fed information down my gullet to my whole world being a lie. So, if there's anyone who understands mistrusting the world, I think I qualify.
Yeah, I've learned that while there is great people in the world, everyone's gonna have their own personal gains and wants that they get out of things. And so completely these guys coming in and being like, hey, we're completely good here. We want nothing but just to talk and help you guys through this. It feels a bit like they're omitting stuff. They're not lying to us at face value, but there's definitely some omission there. And there's definitely some personal needs and personal wants
Oh,
that
absolutely.
could be more mischievous or malicious, I think the word is. I'm
We
not good with
definitely
words.
don't- Malicious, I think, is a good word for it. Yeah,
There we go.
we
No.
definitely don't have the whole story, and I would be hard pressed to believe they will ever give us the whole story. But that's why we watch them.
And you continue to approach while you're talking?
Well,
I
presume?
think we.
I'm gonna wait.
stop.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're gonna
okay.
stop here.
Okay.
And
Just like enough to like if we talk low, we can't be heard, but we can still like see their fire and stuff.
Absolutely.
I guess is it bad to say what I'm trying to get out of this is something more so we can act on it. I just don't feel I don't feel good just leaving them here, you know. I feel like something bad's gonna happen once we leave. And I don't want to look back and say I could have done something. So I'm kind of hoping that once we get to that camp, we see something that'll cause us to act and then be justified. But that's not how an investigator is supposed to be. You never try to have a suspect and then try to pin the evidence on a suspect. You're supposed to follow the evidence and see if that clears him. And so I'm fighting two worlds here, my training and my gut. I don't like it.
You think your gut might be affected by how things went with your sister? You
Hmm.
think that maybe your gut wants something to be wrong with these people because you don't want it to be wrong with Artemis?
To be honest, it's a maybe. Part of me feels like it's not too correlated.
I'm not invalidating your intuition. I'm sorry. I just
No, but there is a part there that might be perhaps it's true. Maybe it's that if these guys are like, we find the big evil for the night, if you will, then there is no like, it's a weird area out there, and I don't know if I'm good enough to go into that right now.
no, it's okay. I know you had quite the conversation. I tried not to listen, but we're all in the same area, so
Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah.
do you want to maybe just sit and watch them for a while? Listen to whatever they're saying.
I could sit for a bit, and then in like 15 minutes, I'm just gonna go up a bit further. But then, yeah, we can call
That's fine. So
it.
we sit
Yep.
for a little bit. I think after a couple minutes, Delilah moves a little closer without speaking, so that she can be in earshot but not eyesight.
Yeah.
Or eye line. And
Meanwhile,
then
Coas is gonna obviously follow suit, but I think he's gonna take it one step further and just try to just see what's going on in the camp.
Yeah. Perfect. So let's start with Delilah hearing, listening. You start to concentrate and you can hear all the sounds of a forest at night, and it's a lot of noise, especially for somebody that isn't used to it. There's birds and bats flying around and squeaking and squawking and bugs running around and wind blowing through trees and the river down in the valley. It's a lot of noise. What you don't hear any of is human conversation. Not one word. Coas.
So it's,
Yeah. You move a
Coas
little. Yeah.
will notice that as he's following alongside Delilah. He kind of looks at her and goes, I think it's a question and look. He's gonna look in his pocket. He's gonna take out his pen and paper that he always has, his kind of pad, and he's gonna basically have this conversation through writing.
Yep.
He's basically say, surely at least one of them would be up, at least keeping watch or shuffling about, someone going to the washroom.
he's gonna write back, this doesn't feel like a single person silence.
How old are we again? Are we just enough to where we wouldn't have had a childhood before the fall?
I think Sid is
About,
the only one.
yeah.
Sid is the only one that would have maybe remembered. He remembers the trip
Delilah
over
is
here at least. So
31.
yeah.
I think
So,
Sid's
yeah,
the
you were
oldest
one.
at like 35.
Yeah, Sid
Artemis
is
is
like
31.
35.
Yeah.
Artemis is 31, and Coas is older than Artemis, so.
I'll just make up something here then.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, you remember those times where they had like the minute of silence? 'Cause I'm assuming someone would have made a minute of silence for something.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for the fall and something like that.
mhm.
It feels like that where it's purposely everyone has to be quiet. or everyone's supposed to be quiet.
Like an enforced silence.
Enforced silence, yes. And that can mean one of two things. One, some weird cult shit going on. Two, they know we're here.
I mean, why not both?
True.
Well, and then she's gonna write, "What do you see?" and then hand it back to you.
And I'm gonna
Sneak forward. Give me a where is it?
dexterity.
Dexterity. Yeah, let's do a dexterity sneaky roll. So
All
it's
right.
clubs is your.
Would
sneak.
I've had 5 minutes?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead
Alright.
and redraw. Anybody who's played cards so far, you've had your 5 minutes, so you can do your redraw as per the rules.
So that's my discard pile. Yes. So I'm at 6 in a hand. It's been
Yep.
so while.
Yep.
6. Ooh.
I
I did pull my king.
Okay.
Oh,
So what is your what is the flaw associated with the king?
Koas's flaw is sometimes he receives psychosis. So
This
visual
could not
imagery
be
that's
better.
not there, or
Oh yes.
usually it comes in the form of
Oh.
visual imagery that's not there, or sound that's not there.
Oh, this
It doesn't
is
actually
so
quite
fucking
exist.
perfect. Coas, you sneak forward through the trees. Yep, and with that king, you look out and you see 6 people sitting around a tiny fire. They're in like a hexagon pattern. They're equally spaced around the fire. Absolutely silent, sitting in a sort of cross-legged position with their hands on their knees, very very hippie looking thing. And then you start to see from each one of their foreheads a little purple light sort of reaches out in 2 directions from each of them, so that all of them connect into this purple ring that connects all of them. Looks for all the world like magic.
they are wizards.
I was trying to. I had actually figured out a trick.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then you gave it that. You just gave it to me for free. So, yeah.
Okay.
He looks again, and then he's gonna come back a bit. And he's gonna write down, holy shit. They're doing some freaky light shit with it looks like magic. I know it's probably not, but it really does look like it.
Okay, well, at that, Delilah wants to see for herself.
Okay.
So Delilah's gonna go up and look too.
Okay. Give me a dexterity. A club.
Okay,
Playing
so
clubs. to
club.
sneak
Oh,
up
right?
there.
should I still play my clubs?
No. As soon as you get the king, you automatically play the king, and that's it. So.
Do I want to use all of my clubs?
I
I'll
was
just
wondering
use-
when his king would show up.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while because I don't actually play my cards that
No.
often.
Well, that's the thing. Is
Yeah,
you-
it happened in the like his office once.
This
and
is what
that's
I
it.
had to. I finally figured out about this game is I'm taking away from the game by not having you guys make more plays because that brings the king back in. So yes, Delilah, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna use a single club.
1 success. Okay.
Wait, actually, let me double check that I don't have a trauma.
Yes, and
I do not. Okay,
Stephen
good.
King. Okay, so you have 1 success. You sneak forward and you see the 6 of them sitting in a circle. But just as you arrive, they all you see them sort of shake themselves and just lay back where they are and pull on bed sheets and start going to bed. So you can neither, your timing is such that you can neither confirm nor deny the existence of the purpley light.
Elves did it. Elves did it.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, damn it, and then go back to Coast, and she's like, I missed it.
I don't know what we do with this information. I mean, it's not like you just. What the fuck?
And there, we're going to cut back. I'm going to give you guys a second to think.
I'm gonna grab some water.
Yep. Artemis and Sid back at the camp with Verite. Verite's back underneath the vehicle. He's just fixing. He's tuned out.
He's had his break.
Yep.
You need an assigned break.
Yeah. And he's finished his tea though, because now that the thing sniffed it, he can finish his tea. But he basically leaves the two
I
of you
think
alone.
I think it's my turn for a break. He sort of makes his way out from under the car, pats him on the shoulder, sits down, and he has the thermos in his hands. He looks at Artemis. He's like, "It is really good tea." And screws it. Pours himself a little.
Had some. It was interesting. I think they catered it to all of us, which is disconcerting.
It is quite interesting. Even Verite liked his, and I've never seen him with tea.
They had coffee for Koas.
How would they have bloody known?
That's what I'm worried about. I'm not saying I trust them. I'm saying if they want us out, maybe it would be best if we take their help so we're gone.
Yeah.
How's your shoulder?
He sort of rotates it a little. It's feeling a little better. All this work is probably doing absolutely nothing for it. But
I'm sorry you got hurt. That anyone could have gotten hurt.
it's fine, Artemis.
I mean, it's not, but
He pauses and he's like, on my 16th birthday, a boiler collapsed. And my father was under it. I was supposed to be taking the engineer's exam that day. Instead, the instructor comes to the door with my father's crushed helmet in his hand. Accidents happen.
yeah. So it's usually my accidents affect me, not other people.
This time it affected more than you. My father was the safest man that ever put a hammer in his hand. Sometimes it affects more than him.
Losing someone you care about is hard. I'm sorry for your loss.
It was 20 years ago.
Doesn't change how it hurts.
You learn to live with it, though. And even watching him work every day after that, it's almost like he didn't leave.
How did you know it was him?
He had a chrome-plated hammer. And he was the foreman. Foremans get a special helmet.
Was it helpful?
Sorry?
Was it helpful to be around him?
It was hard at first. I almost asked to be transferred the first day. I had been working for maybe 2 weeks when they brought him back. But, I mean, and he looks at Artemis with that, if I told this to anyone else, they'd think I was crazy. It's not like he's left. Even now. Because I remember Artemis and Delilah both saw him break down in the mansion that one time.
Mm-hmm. It can definitely feel like they get carried along with you.
More than most. But I mean, in a desperate attempt to change the subject without really changing the subject, it's not like there's anyone here that hasn't lost someone.
Yeah.
And he looks at you. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
So what kind of trouble do you think your brother's up to right now?
And yeah, I
Oh.
want to use that as an opportunity to cut back to these two.
Like serious magic.
Well, it could be super high technology, but I mean, I didn't see any gears, I didn't see any wires, I didn't see anything at all for all intents for all intents and purposes. It looked like just these kind of like purple magical threads, or purple threads. I should really stop putting magical, because then I'm trying to prove that it's magical, or not magical. Purple threads going from each one of their foreheads to like, and they all like connected. And it was fucking wild.
Okay, they said they didn't do magic. I didn't even think magic existed.
I didn't either. But I mean, that would be the perfect cover, you know? You tell people that, hey, we do magic, but it's not actually magic, right? And then then it doesn't get people to question you, right? When you do magic, it would be like if a famous, it'd be like if someone had magical powers, what career would they go into? Being a magician. No one questions it.
Then why would they? They told us that their point was to make people believe they had magic, but they specifically didn't.
Right? Why would you tell a random group of strangers that you just met that you do actually have magic? And they wouldn't believe you even if you did.
I mean, I don't think they're ones to care whether or not we know they have magic. If they wanted us to believe they had magic, they would have let us believe they had magic. Why would they lie?
Okay, so then maybe it's a form of advanced technology. But I saw what I saw. There was like this weird purplish energy coming from them.
When was
And
the last time Ko's had psychosis?
It was back in his
Before he left
office.
Yeah, it was in his
Florence,
office.
Before
Okay.
he left Florence.
And
I
I
don't think
don't
he's
think
ever had
anybody
it
was
in
there,
front of
yeah.
anyone else.
No. Okay.
Artists might have an idea that it exists, but might not know
Yeah.
the extent
there's
of
something-
It
yeah.
basically, for the people that know him closely, it stems from his overworked mind. Definitely from just overworking.
It's Sherlock Holmes without his drugs. Before they cleaned up
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes, where he had
Yeah.
to do lots and lots of laudanum to keep himself stoned up between cases. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Like
Okay, now.
you would be able to see the smoke coming out of his ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that was real.
Yeah. Okay. This is more confusing. Are you? I think we're both really tired, and we should definitely look more into these people later. I just don't. I don't think the middle of the night is a good time to do anything.
Right. Right. Middle night's not the best time to do stuff, but Yeah, okay. All right. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Go back and get some sleep.
You go back and get. You come back with me. You need sleep too.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm coming with you. I thought I'd mention that.
Of course, yeah. Duh.
This is so believable. Like these two exhausted people, been up all day, almost died twice, surfed a dead uh, robot down a hill, almost drove off a bridge, and it's all just piling up. And you guys are, by the time you get back to camp, you're actually stumbling. As you
Back to me.
just as you step back into the last little bit of firelight, when the fire goes down to just coals and it glows just enough so that you can see the faces of the people sitting around it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that low. And then you hear, just before you can even say a word, you hear boom, 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 boom. Little tiny flashes of fire all along this side of the river. And then a couple seconds later, above the enemy camp, like huge blowout 4th of July fireworks level show. But it's low. Like when they explode, they're exploding down into the camp. People are fleeing in all directions.
I thought they said they wanted silence.
I am going
No, they
to
wanted to
bloody
be
kill
left
them, and I
alone.
storm in the direction of the other camp.
And
It just attracts attention, and it just wakes people up. God damn.
as you see by the light of those explosions, the camp on the other side, part of it is breaking up. Groups of people are running, riding, leaving.
More than a few of them are probably missing fingers.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, fling a fire on their
They
tent.
are under the impression that they are under a magical attack, and there's nothing they can do about it in the middle
And
of the night.
Delilah walked off down to the
Delilah
other.
stormed off to the other
The
camp.
other direction,
The
the
south
first camp?
camp?
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Yep. Okay.
The first camp or the one we were kind of heading towards?
The one, so
We went to the north one, the one on the up
Okay.
stream.
I thought you were talking
There's
about
one
the south
downriver.
camp. I'm like, the fuck?
So you're
No,
going to
which-
see the first people you met, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And she's just in the camp going, "What the bloody hell are you people doing? You literally said you like silence and you don't want these people here. Why would you? Do you have magic or not?"
We're getting them to leave.
Oh, really? You didn't get them to leave the last time you had a show like that?
That was during the day, and it was before everything else happened.
Everything else, what? Us?
The
Us, those
avalanche.
special people?
The avalanche. And there's a little grin. Other events that we had arranged for them.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you guys are sociopaths.
Murderers, yes. But we think it's for a good cause.
Yeah.
All
Peace
of this
and
and
quiet in your own secluded valley is a good cause enough to kill people?
Those sorts of people, yes.
Right, because killers deserve to die.
Yes.
Look, that's not a morality thing that I'm willing to argue about right now. What I want is some straight answers. Do you or do you not have magic?
It rather depends on how you define that.
That aren't science.
Oh, well, in that case, no. Everything we
Okay.
do is based on sound scientific principles.
Well, then that clears up some things. Secondly, why should we trust you?
There's
Make
no
it
reason.
a good
There's no reason for you to trust us. We simply offered you help.
And why should we accept your help?
Perhaps you shouldn't. It was simply offered.
God, you guys suck.
And they kind of grin and look over the river at all the people running away. Yes, we can.
Can you help us without actually like bothering us? Do you have maps? Do you have sat nav or something? Like
How about a boat and a map?
yeah, boat map. Gimme.
Here's the map of the region, and they reach into their backpack and pull it out for you. The boat is down at the beach. I would suggest waiting until morning, though.
Yeah, no kidding. Not getting in the river while there's an avalanche and fire raining from the sky. No, thank you. I already almost died once today. And she's like beyond done.
Yep. Do you turn around and storm off at that point?
I think she's just gonna be like, any other magic you want us to know about? Any fancy things? Actually, you know what?
Absolutely
You're
not.
gonna teach me how to make that tea.
Oh, that we can do.
And she's gonna like march over closer to like where she assumes they make the tea, like at the campfire, and she just like gestures to the fire like
And they come over and sit down across the fire from you. Their fire's low too. Did anybody go with or anybody chase after Delilah? By the way, no?
Artemis thought to, but the tea she was given that I said she did drink some of
Yep.
had a sedative in it.
Yes, it did.
That's
So,
starting to kick in.
Yeah.
So she
She's like,
tried to get up
"Hey."
but
Yep.
couldn't. She is getting foggy and she's like,
You-
not happening.
Oh yeah.
You guys look
Exhausted
back.
and poisoned. Yeah.
You guys look back and you see Koa slumped out on a log.
Yeah, he's just done.
yeah. Delilah's like, this is essentially Delilah's way of being like, you're not really magic,
Yep.
but you have something valuable, and I'm gonna get it from you.
Yes. So they sit
And
down
that
across
includes
the fire
like just
from
like
you.
what they know about like herbs and like how to put things in tea to heal people and things like that.
Mhm.
I think Sid kind of walks up right around this time, right around the time she's like points angrily at the campfire,
Yeah.
and he stops. He looks to the people who assume, you're not going to not see a guy that big.
Oh yeah.
And he puts his one good hand on the top of his forge hammer, which is sitting in a loop. And he just sort of puts his hand there. He looks at them, and there's no threat, but there's a definite implication of, if you start something, I will end it.
For sure.
To the people or to Delilah?
Oh no, to them.
To them.
Okay.
Like, just
Yeah.
like, if
For
you guys
sure.
start something, I will end it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
and
may only have one arm, but I'm gonna beat you.
For sure. So you make that clear with the light, and I mean I'm seeing it in the darkness, right? Because you come out of the trees and you're just lit by firelight with your big metal hammer, looking like you're just waiting for an excuse. Delilah, they go over to the fire and sit down across from you. This fire is low as well. They stir it up a little bit and they put on a pot to boil some water. And they look at you and say, "So when you look at me, what do you see?"
A miserable pile of secrets.
Actually, you know what? She says, a miserable pile of secrets.
And they open up a little bag and they take out a couple little things to look at. So, star anise then. And they throw it in the water. What else? You can play too. And they point at you, Sid, standing over at the edge of the forest.
Lying, deceptive, manipulative murderers.
Ah, yes. They reach in and pull out. You see it's about 3 or 4 little Venus flytrap ends, like just the ends, the bitey bits. And they throw them in. Surely something more positive?
Okay. Wannabe philanthropists?
Ah, lavender. They sprinkle a bit of that in. And they boil it up. They pour it out. Thank you. Yes, perfect. You see, it's not difficult.
Sid sort of comes over to them, and without really saying anything, he goes over and he pulls out his hip flask
Yeah.
and he puts a little bit in. Deceit, good intentions, bad execution. Caps it.
They boil up some more water. What were they again?
No. This was.
Oh, this is his response. Was the liquor was those things? Okay, good, because I was gonna make something up, but I didn't have anything yet. So
Yeah, no, that was directly into their cup. It wasn't into the mixture.
Okay,
I got
you.
The cup.
Right.
It's like.
And then they have a sip of that. Yes, that certainly made it more bitter. Point taken. But you see how this works.
I don't think you do. And he looks around to the forest. He looks to the river. He looks to the camp. What do you think's going to happen when this road opens up again? And honest people walk through. Are you going to treat them like you treated those guys?
As long as they pass through, no. Our intent, our plan, is to be known as something akin to wild people, feral people, Sasquatch, something like that. The myth in the valley. Just enough to keep people from coming.
Just stories. The truth will out in time, and you'll have if you piss the wrong people off. They won't come with a bunch of idiots with crossbows.
Why not pick a more secluded place that isn't on a main road?
We may be forced to do that, but several of us lived here before.
Well,
Force of habit, I guess.
Now.
Sorry?
It's not going to be any fun living here now.
That is true, and we have discussed it, and we may have to move on, but for now we are here.
May I suggest that you move on? Believe me, it's better.
Perhaps there are far too many people in this valley. But that does not change the fact that we have offered to help you, and we will do so.
Well, you gave us the map and the boat. So, I think we have what we need.
And you gave me this lesson in morality. And they reach over and pour it into the fire. And it kind of, because there's liquor in it.
Oh, yeah.
Koas is fast asleep, but you can feel the improvement from Koas.
And I think on you saying morality, that is probably a good enough spot to drop the curtain on this evening. Lots of tea references tonight. That did not go the direction I thought it was going to go, and I appreciate that very, very much. You guys don't trust anybody. You guys are so fucking paranoid. But anyway, that's good. That's good. No, that's good. That's good.
Hey, I tried. Yeah, I tried to do something.
Oh, they're not trustworthy people. You guys figured them out. Let's do the thank yous. I want to start with Phil tonight because you're about to get a thank you for something you had no control over. That king coming out, the timing on that was... I had a way for them to appear to be doing magic that you could have figured out, but because of that king, I don't have to give you that chance. So
I didn't know that my king was going to come up, but I had enough cards. I had 3 cards, and 2 of them were clubs.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't want to toot my own horn here.
No.
But I specifically was like, hey, what if wouldn't it be
Yeah.
cool if I happened to draw it? So that's
Yes.
why I asked for the 5-minute
Yeah.
break, because I had enough cards in my hand to play it.
Sure, you had a
But
chance. Yeah, you even had a winning hand, so to speak. But yeah,
Yeah.
I love that about you guys. This is what 3020 gaming is all about. It is the exact opposite of power gaming. It's going, I could take advantage. No, I'm going to do exactly opposite of
Fail.
that. So yes, make
I
things
wanna get-
difficult, make
Macchiato
things
what?
challenger, because that is how you tell great stories. So thank you, Phil, for making that decision to draw those cards. Thank you to Wayward. It is so much fun watching Delilah come unhinged. It's just like we saw. We finally got. It took so long. We got unfiltered Delilah tonight. We got her so mad that she actually said what she thought instead of what she was supposed to think and supposed to say and supposed to be.
Yes, that came out.
We finally gave Delilah a footstep out of that straitjacket they were in. It was magnificent acting. Thank you. The two of you, Bison and Thunder Escape, though, that scene, I know you guys, I saw it in chat. We've been waiting to have this chat for a long time, and we're going to let you have some more of it later. But that chat was amazing. That conversation, and I just imagined it in the dark over that, just all you could see each other's faces across the fire, and it's that perfect time to bare your souls, right? And you did it, and it was absolutely beautiful.
If there's anyone to talk about accidents happen,
Yeah.
it's Sid.
It's Sid. Yep. I almost asked if he could see the ghosts in the forest, and I realized it doesn't matter because they're there. So yeah.
I kind of like how originally it was Artemis and Cois that always kind of stick, and
Yep.
then it's Sid and Delilah. Now it's starting to branch.
Yep. It's starting
like
to. Yep. It's starting to. All these cross relationships are
We're
starting to
trading
happen.
dancing partners.
Well, and
Yeah.
I like the idea that like when Sid was like talking about, his dad being working at the steamworks and seeing ghosts, even if she like if they both know logically like these things aren't necessarily true, she gets the feeling
Well,
regardless.
Not to mention everything that all of you have thought to be true for your whole lives isn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's literally pulled the ground out from under you in a very real way, and then made you run for your lives. So thank you all for being paranoid of the most helpful people ever. That is a perfectly reasonable reaction in this world. I absolutely love it. I expected that. I didn't expect you to weirdly come to the defense of the poor mercenaries across the valley to get
No,
picked on. I wasn't really expecting that.
It was less the
What did
defense
they
of the
do? They're mercenaries. What do you need?
It was less of the defense of the mercenaries and more just like where do they draw the line
Yes. Oh yeah.
on those guys?
And yeah, it was a great line of questioning, and I really enjoyed it. I have to say thank you to Verite for popping out of my head and he just had enough of these people, and just like no,
That was amazing.
I'm done.
That was amazing. We've never seen him like that before.
I try and avoid those doing both sides of the conversation because it's so selfish. So I kept it quick and short. But yeah, I heard Verite. I heard him in my head going no. And
the autistic trait of seeing somebody being wrong and absolutely having to tell them why.
Yes, yeah. Your logic is flawed. Explain yourself.
Need to know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And it's that fearlessness, right? Of I need to know so bad that I'm not even thinking about any danger that I might be in. So yeah, thank you for that moment. You guys set that up really well. So, with that, it was 36 degrees Celsius when we started. That's 100 Fahrenheit. It's still 32.
How many cricket chirps is that?
Per minute? About 1,000. In fact, the crickets outside are doing like flamenco drumming. So yeah,
the crickets are currently sizzling on the sidewalk.
Yeah, you just hear. Yeah. Oh god, you could have fried them on the sidewalk today. It was ugly. All right, but with that, enough whining. Thank you all for giving me 2 hours away, but I know. Thank you all for giving me 2 hours away where I didn't have to think about that. Thank you to everybody in chat. I saw a bunch of folks in there tonight. Thank you. Even chat was more trustworthy of these people than you were. So that says something. Thank you to all the people watching this on YouTube in the future. If you watched all the way to here, please hit the like button. If you really liked it, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so you know when we put more stuff up. Other than that, Monday nights, come and see that wonderful person do Buffy the Vampire. Tuesday nights, come and see that wonderful person do Cyberpunk Red. Wednesday nights, dream in your heads about that person doing their very first ever game. And when you got time for that, Tuesday nights after that thing, think about poor Phil and his bittersweet moment of ending a 2-year campaign.
Sad. But
When
hey,
you're
you
done all
guys,
that, pop
chat
back
can
in
dream
here.
of me anytime.
Oh, isn't that sweet? So, with that potentially questionable ending. Oh, man. Phil, I don't know if I've ever seen you laugh like that hard. Your own face crunches up. That's really, really fucking cute. But with that, and because of that was an example of what I'm about to say, until next time, for goodness sakes, you're breathing in and out anyway. Be nice to each other. Good night.